Have you ever wondered what if Luffy had joyboys haki in episode 1? And to be clear, we aren't giving Kid Luffy Gear 5 right away. Instead, we're giving him something different. The same kind of overwhelming Conqueror's haki tied to Joyboy. But there's one catch. Luffy doesn't understand it. He has no training, no control, and no clue why animals keep running away from him like he just threatened their bloodline. So this version of Luffy is still Luffy. He still eats the gum-gum fruit. He still wants to become king of the pirates. The difference is that every time he gets pushed into a real emotional corner, something much older than him starts pushing back. Let's get into it. The story starts the same. Luffy is still a loud little menace in Fuchsia Village, hanging around Shanks and the red-hair pirates every chance he gets. He still wants to join the crew. Shanks still keeps laughing him off. And Luffy still gets mad, because in his mind he is absolutely ready for the sea. He isn't. He's like 7 bad decisions in a straw hat. But Shanks starts noticing something strange about him earlier. At first, it's small. When Luffy gets angry, the room gets quiet. Not normal quiet, the kind where men who have actually killed people suddenly stop laughing because their instincts just tapped them on the shoulder. Lucky Roo feels it first, then Beckman, then Shanks. Luffy gets frustrated one day, slams his fist on the bar, and for half a second the wooden beams creak like the whole building is under pressure. A few weaker bandits outside stumble without knowing why. Luffy doesn't notice. He just keeps yelling about being a pirate. Shanks notices, and that's when he stops treating Luffy like just some funny village kid. Because Shanks has felt powerful haki before. Roger had it, Whitebeard had it, the monsters of the sea have it. But what comes out of Luffy for that 1 second feels different. It feels old. Then Luffy eats the gum-gum fruit. Same as Canon, he opens the box, sees the fruit, and eats it because apparently mysterious pirate fruit sounds like lunch. Shanks panics. Luffy stretches. Everyone freaks out. But here, Shanks' reaction is worse. Because now he's looking at a kid with a ridiculous devil fruit and a haki presence that makes no sense. So Shanks starts watching him more carefully, not in a cold way. More like he just realized the rubber kid might be carrying a bomb made out of destiny. And of course, Luffy has no idea. He's busy learning that his arm stretches now. Priorities. Then Higuma and the mountain bandits show up. At first, it plays out mostly the same. They mock Shanks, they break the bottle. Shanks lets it happen. Luffy gets furious because he doesn't understand why Shanks won't fight back. But in this timeline, when Luffy yells at Shanks, the whole bar reacts. The windows rattle. Makino freezes. The bandits flinch before they even realize they're scared. And Shanks turns toward Luffy with a look he almost never shows. Concern. Because Luffy's anger is starting to leak. Not enough to knock people out yet, but enough to make everyone in the room feel it. Later, when the bandits kidnap Luffy and take him out to sea, Higuma thinks he has control. He doesn't. He throws Luffy into the water. Luffy starts sinking. The Sea King rises. And this is the first huge change. In canon, Shanks saves Luffy and loses his arm. Here, Shanks still jumps in. But before the Sea King can bite down, Luffy panics. Not because he's brave, because he's terrified. And that fear turns into something sharp. The ocean goes still for 1 second. Then Luffy screams. A black wave explodes out from him. The Sea King stops mid-attack. Its eyes go wide. This giant monster of the East Blue, the thing that should be ruling these waters, suddenly looks like it just remembered it isn't at the top of the food chain. The wave hits the bandits' boat wreckage. It hits the sea. It hits the sky. And the Sea King backs away. Shanks still grabs Luffy, but this time, he doesn't lose his arm. He just floats there, holding this crying rubber kid, staring at the Sea King as it disappears under the water. And for once, Shanks doesn't joke, because he knows what he just felt. That was Conqueror's haki, but it was way too strong for a kid, way too old, and way too familiar in a way Shanks doesn't want to say out loud. When Shanks leaves, the moment with the straw hat still happens, but the meaning changes a little. Shanks isn't just betting on Luffy because Luffy reminds him of Roger. Now he's betting on him because something impossible is waking up inside him. He puts the hat on Luffy's head. He tells him to return it someday, when he becomes a great pirate. Luffy cries. Shanks smiles. But as the red-hair pirates sail away, Beckman looks at him. You felt that too, didn't you? Shanks doesn't answer right away. He just watches Luffy getting smaller on the shore. Then he says, yeah. And that's all he says, because some things are too dangerous to name too early. 10 years pass. Luffy grows up. And because Shanks never lost his arm, the story around him changes. People still talk about red-haired Shanks, but now there is no missing arm legend tied to Luffy. There is only a rumor. A rumor that years ago, something scared a Sea King away from a child. Most people don't believe it. Why would they? It sounds stupid. And to be fair, a lot of true things in One Piece sound stupid until someone gets punched through a building. Luffy still trains. He still learns how to use his rubber body. He still creates Gum Gum Pistol. But his haki keeps leaking when his emotions spike. Animals avoid him. Bandits don't mess with him twice. Even Garp notices it. And Garp being Garp, he doesn't sit Luffy down for a careful emotional conversation. Absolutely not. He throws him into worse training. Because if your grandson has terrifying ancient haki, clearly the answer is more cliffs. When Luffy finally sets sail, the Alvida situation changes fast. He still ends up on Alvida's ship. He still meets Kobe. Kobe is still terrified of everything, including eye contact. But Alvida senses something wrong the second Luffy stands up to her. She doesn't know what haki is. Most East Blue pirates don't. But her body knows enough. Luffy tells Kobe to say what he wants. Kobe finally says he wants to join the Marines. Alvida swings her club. Luffy takes the hit like usual because rubber. Then he gets annoyed. And the second his eyes sharpen, half of Alvida's crew drops. Not all of them, just the weak ones. 1 second they're laughing. Next second, they're on the floor. Kobe thinks they died. They didn't. But emotionally, yeah, maybe a little. Alvida freezes. Luffy just blinks. Huh. Guess they were tired. Kobe looks at him like he just watched a demon sneeze. Then Luffy sends Alvida flying. That part still feels like Luffy. But now Kobe understands something immediately. Luffy isn't just strong. There is something around him that makes weak people fold before the fight even starts. Then Luffy reaches Shellstown. Zoro is still tied up. Helmeppo is still useless in that special rich kid way. Morgan is still running the base like a man whose mirror compliments him every morning. Luffy meets Zoro and likes him almost immediately. Because Luffy's standards for friendship are basically, can you fight? Are you interesting? Did you say no once, but I ignored it? Perfect. When Luffy breaks into the Marine base and things start getting loud, Morgan sends soldiers after him. This is where the next change hits. Luffy isn't trying to hurt regular Marines. He doesn't even think they're the problem at first. But when Morgan orders them to fire on Kobe and the little girl, Luffy gets angry, and that anger snaps through the courtyard. A wave of haki drops most of the Marines where they stand. Rifles hit the ground. Helmeppo starts shaking so badly he can barely speak. Morgan stays standing, barely, and Zoro sees it. He doesn't know what it is yet, but he knows what it means. This idiot in the straw hat is dangerous. Not just strong, dangerous. Luffy still frees Zoro. Zoro still agrees to join after realizing Luffy is going straight at Morgan with or without help. And when Morgan swings his axe hand, Luffy and Zoro take him down fast. The difference is the aftermath. The Marines don't just thank Luffy quietly. They're scared of him. Because pirates are supposed to beat people. They are not supposed to walk into a courtyard and make trained men collapse by wanting something hard enough. Orange Town gets weird. Buggy hears about the rubber boy before Luffy even gets there. At first he doesn't care. Then someone says the kid wears a straw hat. That gets his attention. Then someone says people drop around him for no reason. Now Buggy really doesn't like this story. Because Buggy has sailed with monsters. He knows what Conqueror's haki feels like. He has been around Roger. He has been around Shanks. And he has spent years pretending those experiences did not leave permanent emotional damage. Then Luffy shows up. Buggy sees the hat. He gets mad. The fight starts. And at first, Buggy is still annoying to deal with. His chop-chop fruit makes him hard to hit cleanly, and Luffy isn't a technical fighter yet. But Buggy makes one big mistake. He damages the straw hat. Luffy goes quiet. And the whole town feels it. Buggy's crew drops in waves. Moji collapses. Richie the Lion whimpers and backs away. Kabaji stays up, but he looks like he is already regretting every career choice that led him here. Buggy stays conscious because he has a stronger will than most East Blue pirates. But even he starts sweating, because for 1 second, Luffy doesn't feel like a rookie. He feels like a king. Luffy beats Buggy after that. But Buggy remembers the feeling. He's a coward, a liar, and a professional survivor. So when the sea starts moving, Buggy notices. When Luffy reaches Syrup Village, the Kuro situation changes in a quieter way. Kuro's whole plan depends on control. He hides in plain sight. He manipulates Kaya. He uses patience, fear, and lies. That works on most people. It doesn't work as well around Luffy. Luffy doesn't figure everything out because he's suddenly smart. Let's not get crazy, but his instincts are sharper here. Joyboys haki isn't observation haki, but Luffy's will reacts badly to people who try to crush someone else's freedom. So whenever Kuro is near Kaya, Luffy feels irritated and doesn't know why. Usopp still tries to warn the village. No one believes him. Luffy believes him faster. Because Luffy doesn't need a whole debate. Usopp is scared, but he's still standing between danger and his home. That's enough for Luffy. When the Black Cat pirates attack, Luffy's haki leaks again during the battle. Not as a giant blast this time, more like pressure. The weak